I'm joined today by Deborah Charles, and we're going to talk a little bit about cyberbullying and how it relates to children and young people's behaviours online. Welcome, Deborah.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your role, who you are, where you come from, and then we'll talk about cyberbullying and how you think it affects children and young people.
Okay, my name is Deborah Charles. I work within Suffolk County Council and lead on antisocial behaviour and hate crime. And as part of my role, I also manage the Suffolk Hate Crime Service, and that's a joint team of police and county council staff. And their role within the team is to support victims of hate crime and encourage reporting of that and support victims when they've actually been targeted for it.
Oh, okay, sounds a very interesting role. Tell me a little bit about your connections with cyberbullying.
We have a number of ways people can report incidents to us. So we have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter feed, we have a website, and as well as people sending us reports in or contacting the police, quite often we'll get people send us a Facebook message and say, I've just had this comment made on my Facebook page, can you have a look at it? I'm not sure if this is right, I'm not happy with this comment. We've also got a couple of youngsters that quite regularly will contact us by email and say, I spoke to somebody at school today and this comment they're really worried about on their page, or one of the other social media pages has been put out. And some of those are anonymous pages that people put comments on and people then respond to that. And so we get those reports in.
I see. And the thing with cyberbullying, I mean, I'm trying to think about cyberbullying today in contemporary childhood and youth, but I think, you know, when you can compare it to bullying in the old days when it was in the playground, still very upsetting, some very hurtful things said, but actually the thing with cyberbullying is it never goes away, does it?
I think we've had a number of clients we've worked with who've sort of said, if they'd made those comments to me in the street, I know who's heard it, I know who was there at the time. Well, when it's on a social media site or it's on a website, you've got no idea how many people have seen those comments. And even years later, that comment may have been removed, but it may still be on somebody's file somewhere and could come back. So it's the complete lack of control of who's seen it. And we've had people that say, I've known this person made this comment about me. They've gone down the street and they're staring at people thinking, do they know about it? Have they heard about it? And it can be really damaging for people's mental ill health.
I think you're right. I think the thing is as well, whereas bullying, as you said, you know, you would know who it was, you'd know who the individual or the group were, and you would get home and you would have a safe haven. But unfortunately with social media, with texting, and we've got phones that do everything these days, you can't get away from it. It's 24/7. So even when you're in that safe haven of your home, people can anonymously cyberbully you as well. And as you said, but then the network of your friends might know about it as well, and there might be some sniggering going on the next day at school or in the organisation where you happen to work or something. And it can be very damaging, can't it?
Extremely. I mean, it's that whole thing, never having that escape. If you've been bullied at school, you get home thinking, I'm safe. I can now relax for the evening. Yes, I'm going to be anxious, and I've got to get up tomorrow and go back to school. But actually, if it's on your Facebook page, it's on your MySpace, it's on your Twitter feeds, wherever they've put them, it's on your phone, as you say. And wherever you put that phone, it's next to you when you're eating your dinner, it's beside your bed when you go to sleep. You can't escape from that.
And you're probably always wondering when that, you know, when the blue light comes on your phone, or whether you hear that email ping in, you wonder, is it them again?
I had a young girl I was with a couple of weeks ago, and she'd been having harassment via her mobile phone. And I sat with her, and it was constant all that morning. The phone kept beep, 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 beep. I held her phone for 10 minutes and it kept beeping. But the anxiety and the anguish in her face while I had the phone, I said, you don't need to see what this says. But she felt she needed to because something had come in. She was out of control. And she needed that control back, and the only control she had was by reading what was being said. And in some ways she felt it was much worse than what was actually on there. But it was I was irritated by it. But if it had been directed at me, the impact and watching her face as each one came through.
Yes, yeah.
And in those cases, that's where we get to harassment rather than cyberbullying.
I wondered that, Emma, because it's that sort of, it's almost that sort of fine line, isn't it? And I think that the advice in the past has been, you know, if you're getting nasty messages, if you're getting, you know, harassment sort of messages, to save them. Is that what you would advise?
We always advise people to keep a record of everything that comes in, and if you've got on a website and you can screen print, save all those messages, we've got the evidence to go forward. With a lot of the cyberbullying, unfortunately, it's not illegal.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with putting somebody's picture on a page of the internet and make fun of it.
Okay.
That's not illegal.
Okay.
Making comments about people is not illegal. If they use homophobic, racist language, that style of inappropriateness, that would be a crime.
Yes.
But generally, most cyberbullying isn't.
Yeah.
However, the more pictures we build up of somebody's interference from others, the better the picture is to then take it to court at a later point. So sometimes we've got people come forward, what's actually happened to them can be seen. If you look at it black and white, it's very meaningful.
Yes, absolutely.
What's the point? What's this happened to this person? We've got the information, great, but actually it's not a lot there.
Very difficult. Yeah.
But that individual is being really affected by it. So what we're doing is building the picture up, and it's reassuring them that we are listening to them.
Yes.
And it's that frustration, we can't actually do anything at the moment, but please keep coming to us.
That's right.
If we can identify through the police or other means who the perpetrator is, on occasions, I've asked a local police officer to knock on somebody's door.
Yes.
I've always wanted to be that person seeing their face when a policeman's at their door and saying, half an hour ago you made a comment on a social media, could you remove it now because the person you made it about is upset by it, or another member of the public. We often get people saying, this has nothing to do with me, but I've seen this comment and I'm not happy about it. And people don't realise the comments they make on their own pages are open a lot of the time.
Yes, absolutely.
People can pick up information about them. We've had people who have put really discriminatory comments on there that we've had to have the police go around and speak to them. No, but it's on my personal page. But you've left your profile open.
Absolutely.
And in some of those cases, they have then become a victim themselves because people have reacted to the comments they've made. So it can be a really damaging tool to actually look at how you put things onto
and you've got to, it's done so instantly, isn't it? And sometimes you don't have time to reflect. Would you have said that to somebody in real life?
Yes.
I don't think so. But actually, in the heat of the moment, or just because you're wanting to be a bit vindictive at one point, it's gone, but it's gone forever, and you've not had time to reflect on it. But I think what's happening is a worryingly high percentage of children and young people are saying they're being bullied online. And I think the thing to do is to go and talk to someone about it. Talk to your parents, talk to your guardian, talk to your carer, talk to your teacher at school. And even if you can't really trace that person that's sending you these messages that are upsetting to you, and they're not against the law, by talking to somebody and trying to find a solution to maybe, you know, not go on Facebook for a couple of days, you know, give your phone to somebody for a while, just to relieve that tension for a while. Maybe, you know, sharing a problem is sometimes what we really need to do.
And I think it's nice for somebody to be reassured. They can ring us up and say, I'm feeling really upset by this, but maybe my friends, maybe my parents are saying, oh, ignore it. You shouldn't have to ignore it. If that's happened, you need someone to say, I understand how you feel. Let's see if there's anything we can do about it.
Excellent.
Let's support you through it. Because I think the worst thing you can say to somebody is just forget about it, ignore it.
And get on with your life.
It's affected them.
Yes,
Something, it's had an impact on their lives, and we need to acknowledge that and just say to them, we understand. We're listening to what's happened to you. And the majority of people putting comments on aren't malicious.
No.
For a lot of the people we spoke to, they had no clue that the comments they made would have that impact on someone else. A lot of the time it is, I think this is quite funny. I'm in a group and we're all going to make silly comments. We're all putting comments on and I'm going to put something else on as well. But it's actually affecting somebody without you realising it.
Well, you've given us a great deal of thought.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And if people do have a concern, where do they contact you?
They can contact us via the police if they
Okay.
wish to.
Yeah.
But we're also an independent, so people don't have to tell the police about what's happened to them. They can
Okay.
do it anonymously.
Yeah.
We have a Facebook page, we have a website,
Okay.
and we also have a Twitter feed for Suffolk Hate Crime, so you can find us on any of the search engines for those. We have a telephone number of Ipswich 668966.
Lovely. Well, thanks ever so much
Thank
for
you.
talking to us, and I hope it's been helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.